The Nintendo Wii U, what an interesting system for a Nintendo. Riding the high and the success of the Wii, I honestly feel, and most people feel, that Nintendo just thought they could waltz in, use that Wii branding for the system's successor, and see that sort of same success that they saw with the Wii U, but unfortunately, that's not how things happened. The Nintendo Wii U was a commercial failure. It's the lowest selling home console of all time for Nintendo, and it's arguably their second biggest flop in gaming hardware history. The first, of course, being the Virtual Boy. Now, I love the Virtual Boy. I think it's a fantastic little system, but even I can admit that thing was an absolute failure. And it's interesting to see what ended up happening with the Wii U. Nintendo just did not have the momentum with the system. With the PS4 and the Xbox One on the horizon, the Wii U was just sort of stuck in this rut. It's like, why buy one unless you're a die-hard Nintendo fan when there's other competition out there that is more appealing and more appeasing? But I don't think the Wii U is all that bad. Honestly, I think it was a pretty decent system, because when you look at a system, you have to look at what a system does. You have to look at what a system's game library is. And the Wii U is actually a pretty attractive system. Now in 2018, of course, Nintendo is riding the high of the Nintendo Switch. They're seeing all this great success with the system. The system has already outsold the Wii U's life-to-date sales in just under a year, but still, I think the Wii U still has some value, especially in 2018. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at the Wii U, and we're going to make a case for why you should buy a Wii U in 2018. Yes, I'm serious. You should pick up a Wii U in 2018. So what am I on about? What am I talking about? Have I lost my mind? I don't think so. So in this video, we're going to analyze why you should buy a Wii U in 2018.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So first things first, I want to clear the air on one thing before we get into this video, and that is that I am in no way, shape, or form saying that you should buy a Wii U over a Nintendo Switch or over a PS4 or over an Xbox One. Those systems still have life to them. Those systems still have games coming out to them. The Wii U is a dead system. What you see is what you get with the system. So I'm not saying you should buy this in lieu of those systems, but maybe in complementary of those systems. So in this video, basically, I want to look at a couple different things. I want to look at the games library of the Wii U. I want to look at what it's able to do versus the Nintendo Switch, and then I want to talk about just what the Wii U's impact will be in gaming history in a few years. But first and foremost, let's talk about the games. Now, for the games list, I simply did the easy way and went on GameStop's website and basically looked at what I could pick up games for on the Wii U in 2018. And surprisingly, there are a lot of cheap, high quality games available for the Wii U that are actually cheaper than the Nintendo Switch versions that are coming out. Now, as far as picking up a system goes, the Nintendo Wii U is still a bit pricey. The cheapest one I was able to find, once again on GameStop, was for $150. That did come with 2 racing games though, so you might be able to get some enjoyment. I believe Sonic Racing was one of them, which was a pretty decent game on the Wii U, but for $150 you're getting the core system, and that comes with the gamepad and the system, of course. Now let's talk about the games. Like I said, simply went on to GameStop. You could probably get better deals on eBay, but I figured GameStop is a nice universal site that everyone can use. So the following games are Wii U exclusives, at least on the Wii U, and maybe being ported to the Nintendo Switch. But whereas all of these Switch versions of the games are usually costing $60, you can find all of these games for $20 or less on GameStop's website. And there's a lot of high quality games that you might not have played. You can pick up Super Mario 3D World, which was an excellent version of Mario. You could pick up Hyrule Warriors, which of course is getting a definitive edition on the Nintendo Switch, but still, the original Hyrule Warriors was a fantastic game. Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, another game that's seeing a port to the Nintendo Switch, once again, only $20. Wind Waker HD, which is a phenomenal version of Wind Waker and arguably one of the most underrated Zelda games in the franchise, once again, $20. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, the best value on this list because nothing is really being added to the Nintendo Switch version of the game, but you could pick up this version of the game for $20. Bayonetta 2, of course, recently released for the Nintendo Switch back in February, $60 game. On the Nintendo Wii U, $20 game. And the final game is a game that has not been brought over to the Nintendo Switch. There have been rumors about it, but it's one of my favorite RPGs of recent memory when it comes to console RPGs, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles X. I absolutely love that game. I love the atmosphere of the game, and it was just a really fun game. So all of those games that I just mentioned are $20 or less, and that's on GameStop's website right now. So you could build a pretty healthy collection of first and second party games on your Nintendo Wii U with just a few clicks of the mouse and not a lot of money spent. Now, when it comes to third party games on the Wii U, it was definitely very, very paltry. But there are still select games that released on the Wii U that I think are actually very, very good ports and very fun ports. Now, all of these games are $15 or less, with many of them being $10. Games like The Wonderful 101, which was a really interesting game from Platinum Games. Injustice: Gods Among Us, which was a fun fighting game. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. You're not getting your Monster Hunter fix on the Nintendo Switch quite yet? Why not check out a Wii U version? Darksiders War Mastered Edition, which was a remaster of the original Darksiders game, another very underrated game. Lego City Undercover, which actually used the Wii U gamepad really, really well. One of the best uses of the gamepad, in my opinion, under $15. Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut, my favorite third-party game on the Nintendo Wii U. A fantastic port of the game, uses the gamepad really well. Once again, under $15. My second favorite third-party game on the system, Batman Arkham City Armored Edition. Once again, a fantastic use of the Wii U gamepad, a really fun game, and just a real gem in the Batman series. And the final game is Mass Effect 3. I actually played Mass Effect 3 mostly on my Nintendo Wii U. That's the system I beat it on because I liked being able to play with the gamepad. The gamepad really made games interesting to me. So all of those games that I just mentioned are $15 or less on GameStop's website. So once again, you're building a very healthy collection of games with not a lot of money going into it. Another great thing about the Nintendo Wii U is the ability to play your Wii games, and everyone has Wii games. I think even your grandma has Wii games just sitting in her attic. And while there was a ton of shovelware on the Wii, there are tons of great games that I really enjoyed playing on the Wii that now you can play on your Wii U and use your HD TV very easily. You don't have to worry about getting component cables or little gimmicky boxes with the Wii. You just simply play them on your Wii U. So that's another big advantage in my opinion. It's a great way to play Wii games. Sure, you have to have the Wii controllers and whatnot, but much like Wii games, I'm sure we all have Wiimotes just laying around in totes somewhere. So that's another nice addition of the Nintendo Wii U. And of course, one of the big additions of the Wii U, and one of the things that it has an advantage over the Nintendo Switch in right now, is Virtual Console. There is no Virtual Console on the Nintendo Switch yet. We think that it's coming in September alongside the online service, but we don't know anything about it. We don't know what it's going to bring to the table. And there are so many awesome Virtual Console games that are on the Wii U right now that it's just another great way to build your library. Going over some of these games very briefly, you have, of course, Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is a Wii game, so if you don't own the disc of that, you can simply download it. N64 games and Nintendo DS games, there's a whole plethora of them. Highlights include Fire Emblem Sacred Dragon and Mario Hoops 3-on-3, which is a really underrated Nintendo DS game that not a lot of people played, but I really enjoyed that game. It had Final Fantasy characters, a really fun Mario sports game. You have Super Mario 64, you have Mario Kart 64. Of course, tons of staple N64 games available to play on your HD TV, and they look pretty damn good too. When it comes to the Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance, of course there's a ton of stuff on there. You got Final Fight, Street Fighters, Castlevanias, Golden Suns, whatever you want, it's available on the system. If you like TurboGrafx games, they added a bunch of TurboGrafx games really late into the system's library. Blazing Lasers, the whole Bonk series, Soldier Blade, Adventure Island, these are all top quality games. Top-notch TurboGrafx 16 games that look great playing on the Wii U. And of course you have the NES classics, the staples, the Castlevanias, the Metroids, the Marios, the Zeldas, and even Earthbound Beginnings, which was a huge deal when it came to the Wii U's Virtual Console. So we've seen that we could pick up a Wii U for pretty cheap, $150, and we could pick up a ton of games and build a very healthy library of games for not a whole lot of money. But is that enough to pick up a Wii U in 2018? I don't necessarily think so. I think the icing on the Wii U's cake, though, of why you should pick up a Wii U in 2018 is simply because of the system itself. Like I stated earlier, this system was a commercial failure. It did not sell well. And because of that, it's going to be harder and harder to find this system in 5 to 10 years when you think about it, especially when you consider the fact that the system has to use the gamepad as well for 90% of these things. In 5 to 10 years, you're not going to be able to find Wii U's in decent condition with the gamepad at just any place you go. Yes, right now it's pretty easy, but in the future, it's going to be harder and harder and harder. I foresee this system being sort of like a Sega Saturn, being sort of like a Neo Geo, a very small but expensive gaming market, because that's the only way to play a lot of these games. That's the only way to play your Wii U. You have to have the gamepad. You have to have these games. And I foresee in the future this system becoming a high collector's market. Most Nintendo systems do, and a lot of them do without any real reason. A lot of these games sold thousands and millions of copies and are still considered rare. What about a system that barely sold over 13 million systems? What about some of these games that sold well under 500,000 copies? It's going to be very hard. And because of that, that is why I think you should buy a Wii U in 2018. Don't buy it in lieu of a Nintendo Switch. Don't buy it in lieu of a PS4 or an Xbox One. But I think most of you guys that want one of those systems have one of those systems, whereas the Wii U is just sort of a complementary system that I foresee getting very expensive. So if you got some extra cash, go pick up a Wii U, go pick up a handful of games, and you could build a very good Wii U library with a ton of fun games for not a whole lot of money. And that, my friends, is why you should buy a Wii U in 2018. I think it's a solid investment. I really foresee this system just getting more and more expensive in the years to come. It's going to be harder to find these things. You're not going to be able to find them at GameStop. You're going to be regulated to mom and pop shops and retro expos. And I really foresee this system becoming a hot collector's item. Most of the systems that don't do very well in North America end up becoming the most expensive systems to collect for in North America. That's just the way of the world and the way of the economy when it comes to retro video games. So I hope I sort of explained my points well. I think I did. But let me know in the comments section down below if you have any plans of picking up a Wii U in 2018. What you think of the Wii U? Or do you just absolutely hate the system and could care less about it? I'm sure there's some of you people out there. And of course, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. And if you really enjoyed this video, make sure you check out the description box down below. We got a whole bunch of fun stuff, ways to keep up to date with the world of RGT 85, whether it's through Patreon, t-shirts, social media, all sorts of fun stuff. I've actually opened a Discord server for anyone to join up as well. It's not the same as the Patreon server, but it is a server where you can meet up with other RGT fans, share your work if you want to, meet with other video game lovers, and just have a good time. So thank you for checking out this video, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.
RGT 85. RGT 85. RGT 85.